Inspekta Jenerali wa polisi Bwana Koome pamoja na waziri wa usalama Bwana Kithure Kindiki wakabiliana na mitihani mikubwa sana ya kujibu maswali kuhusiana na kile kinachoendelea kule Sondu.
Chief inspectors, and again interviews were carried out about 1,060, right? I think 65 chief inspectors were promoted. But we made a deliberate decision as a service board to take them back to the college, our three national police colleges, for refresher programs. Some have completed the refresher program, others is still ongoing. Therefore, Honorable Chair, honorable members, no issues at all. We are carrying on well between the service board and the commission. I hope I've clarified. Thank you, Chair.
Point of order. IG, you are very clear in what you are telling us, but we would really like the breakdown of the recent promotions. I think the question is very clear. The recent promotions, in terms of who are these individuals, what rank are you promoting them to, what is the gender, what is the regional balance? That is really what the committee is asking you to do. Thank you, Chair.
So on that one, I would like when CS, we want a list indicating all the numbers from different ranks and region and gender. So that one we can have it written down. It make it easier and completely respond the question.
Very well,
Address
Chair.
the question.
Because this letter comment, so we didn't expect those details, but we are well guided, Chair. If I may proceed with the next issue.
You can proceed to the next one.
Which is on...
a small intervention, Chair.
Yeah.
Chair, the document we need is the document. The names, the rank, and the positions of promotion, not the numbers and regions. We want the details of the people promoted.
Yeah, I think that's what I did say.
Thank you.
And it's agreeable. Yeah.
If I may ask for that, the kind of information required is the information that helps the committee look at compliance with national values and in the Constitution. Okay, understood. Understood. Chair, on the issue of the proposed amendments on the National Government Coordination Act of 2012, which now I think there's an amendment by the Honorable Malulu Njendi to basically recognize village elders, to create village councils and village units. We've been asked to comment, and first and foremost, the legislative authority of the country is vested in Parliament. Therefore, from a starting point, any member of Parliament is free to introduce legislation and push it through Parliament. And that is our view. But having said that, we also note that the bill is specifically looking at the creation of village elders and how they'll be compensated. For us in the ministry, we are looking at reforms around that space to be a little more broader than just a question of amending one or two sections. I've seen in this proposal is section 15 and 17. And I am happy to report to the committee that we already have a draft National Government Coordination Amendment Bill, but it elapsed. It is a proposed legislation of 2021, but because of parliamentary procedures, it elapsed under the previous parliament, the 12th parliament. We have taken the policy position to refurbish, improve on this bill and resubmit it as the executive. And the issues that the member, the Honorable Malulu Njendi, seeks to introduce are covered in our proposed legislation, which we intend to take through Cabinet for introduction into Parliament. And therefore, without giving a lot of details, because we have not provided a copy of that proposed legislation, our view is that the broader amendments to the Act to improve on national government, the coordination of the functions of national government in the grassroots, would be the proper place to place the proposed amendment by the Honorable Malulu Njendi, which in principle this administration is not opposed to. This administration is not opposed to the formal recognition of village elders in the structure of national government administration. Number two, in any case, Chair, these village elders exist. The only problem is that they have not been recognized in law, and they do play a fundamental function in the governance of our country. Number two, the government is not opposed to the compensation, in principle, to the compensation of village elders. And already as a ministry, there is a working party within the ministry in the State Department of Internal Security, which is working on the financial implications, so that by the time the legislation is brought, we have discussed with Treasury, we have discussed with other stakeholders, including SRC and everybody else, to make sure that the proposals that we bring are viable. But in principle, we believe village elders need to be compensated, and there is work in progress that is already underway. Therefore, our request, without prejudice to what I said at the beginning, which is that the legislative authority of the country, of the state, lies with Parliament, we would have recommended that the honorable member could consider standing down the very specific amendments that they seek to introduce and find a way of those amendments being incorporated into the broader amendment bill that the executive will be introducing to Parliament as soon as the Cabinet gives the approval. Thank you. Then lastly, I think there was the item of Sondu.
You can address the issue of Garzen.
Yes, for the two issues around the missing persons, I think it's whereabouts of Mr. Isaac Robles Amani. The ID number has been given there, and Mr. Noor Mohammed Okomo, the ID number has been provided. At the moment, no report has been made at any police station in Kenya on this particular incident. The same applies with regard to the second issue, which is what measures has the government taken to ensure that the said persons are located and reunited with their families. Again, no report has been made, and if a report has already been made, we would be happy if we could be provided with the OB number that will help us track the investigations and the status of the whereabouts of the said missing persons. Chair, the last but not least is the matter of Sondu. Very briefly, I would like to say to state as follows. There has been a dispute between Kisumu County and Kericho County on the actual coordinates of the boundary. This dispute is not unique to Kisumu and Kericho. Over 30 counties in Kenya have similar inter-county disputes with regard to the actual coordinates of the boundary between one county and another. So it should be clear that this is not unique to Kisumu and Kericho. And the dispute has been there for a while. What is unique about this particular matter, among others, because as I've said, more than 30 counties are in the same state, in every region of our country. If it is Garissa, Isiolo, Meru, Taita Taveta, Kajiado, Makueni, Taita Taveta, name it, Turkana, West Pokot, very common. But what is a bit unique is the sporadic violent criminal acts, murders, and destruction of property that has occasionally been witnessed in this area of Sondu by criminals purporting to be pursuing a boundary dispute. It is our considered view that resolution of disputes of whatever nature, political, boundary, social, must be done peacefully. And therefore, with the incidents that we have seen in the last few months, because I remember, I think around July, there was loss of life again in the same town by criminals who are using that boundary issue. And then, of course, last week, we lost up to 7 people in senseless killing by criminals. Therefore, resolution of disputes must be peaceful. And the fact that the two counties have different opinions on where the border coordinates lie is not excuse for murder, arson, and other crimes that have been committed in that area. Unfortunately, it also became clear that some of our law enforcement officers should have acted differently to avert the loss of lives that we have witnessed, especially the last 2 incidents. As a result, therefore, it has been decided that first we must firmly enforce the law, isolate criminals, whether they are from Kericho County or Kisumu County, and deal with them firmly and without mercy. We have deployed anti-riot specialized forces and officers and personnel in that area, And as I said a few days ago, if we need more, we will deploy. If that problem is not contained by the current deployment, we will increase the numbers and the type of officers that we send there. And right now the GSU is already stationed there. And because there were issues of livestock theft, and one wonders what is the connection between the boundary and somebody's cow, we have also on standby in that 2 detachments of the anti-stock theft unit. And their instructions are to be impartial, apolitical, neutral, and ruthlessly isolate, track, arrest, and punish criminals, whether they are from this county or the other county. However, it is true, just like in other counties, the counties have different opinions on where the beacons are. The mandate for doing that lies with the Department of Survey, and we as security agents and the security infrastructure of the country are engaging with the Department of Survey in the Ministry of Lands and other responsible agencies to make sure that the matter between Kericho and Kisumu counties in Sondu is resolved, but peacefully. We insist it must be resolved peacefully. So it's unfortunate that we have had senseless loss of life. The officers who have been deployed there have been instructed to make sure that there is no recurrence of violence whatsoever again in that area. Even as we pursue peace building, which also falls within our mandate as the Ministry of Interior, and among the officers I have here is the Secretary for Peace Building, Conflict Management, and Disaster Response, Mr. Narengo. So we have said once there is law and order and criminals are not rampaging and killing people and torching houses, let the peace building processes start operating. And also we believe there is some logic in involving the elected leaders from both counties to help us galvanize sustainable, durable peace among the 2 neighboring communities. But we have not reached the point of engaging political leaders. We will do so once we confirm that that violence is not recurring, because at the time when that orgy of violence was happening, we were suspecting that perhaps some of the local leaders could have been participating in inciting the public. The investigations are still ongoing, and as soon as we are sure that we know who the suspects are, then we can be able to know who to invite, even from the political leaders, to assist us in building sustainable peace. I submit.
Maybe we can start by giving MP for Buru.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the chance given on the response from the CS. But I wish to differ with the response in the following manner. One is that the matter was reported in 2 different police stations. I have the OB number with me. I was going through my phone to exactly get the OB numbers.
News Updates Kenya.